Control room, pop the article up where it talks about Diddy, and yeah, go full screen with that. And if you go down a little bit, basically what this talks about is Diddy had a deal on the table to work with, and just can you zoom in a little bit? Will it let you zoom in or no? Okay. Um, so basically, it was Cresco Labs uh, and
Columbia Care,
Columbia Care, and it was worth the deal was worth
85 million.
$185 million,
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily seeing a particular reason why that deal didn't happen, other than the fact that they said, I think the CEO of Cresco Labs said,
Yeah, I think it was a change of mind by Cresco Labs and them looking at the long term.
and they saw potential that they hadn't originally seen, and they said, "Nah,
Yes.
we don't want to do this."
Yeah.
And they were really polite, and they thanked everybody that was a part
Yes.
of the deal, and they just kind of said, "We're not doing it."
I think it makes sense for them to approach the deal. It's a pretty, that 185 million is a nice amount that you can use to, for other ventures. But I think with the changes in the market and what's happening in other states, made them, take another look and say, let's look at the long term and think they make out better.
Right. So now what they're saying is they're saying they dodged a bullet, Scott. They're
Yeah,
saying,
they did.
"Holy shit, thank God that didn't go through," because what they're saying is it literally would have changed the face of the industry itself, because these are big players.
Yeah.
Him being involved in this controversy, it would have been pretty bad for the industry. That's what they're saying. They say they dodged a bullet. What do you guys think?
Well, I think so. Let's take a step back and think about what P. Diddy was trying to do. Or was it Puff, Sean Puff? What's his name? Sean Combs right now. He got that government name right now, motherfucker on trial. So, let's go
He
by
got
that
numbers.
government doing. You know.
Right.
But but I think what he was trying to do is trying to get into the cannabis, be the first major black player in the game, and to bring something for the community and to expand on that. So I think it was a good idea and a good suggestion for him to go into that venture. But like you said, Cresco had other things in mind, rethought it, and probably better for them.
Right. I agree. How about you, Bear?
And plus, Diddy need that money right now.
Yeah, I think they dodged. That's for sure.
Yeah, because here's what would
That new
happen.
attorney
Yeah,
too.
shit, hey.
That
Here's
guy-
what would have happened. He would have bought that shit for 185 and would have had a fire sale it during
Oh my
this.
God.
Yeah.
No, I agree. They definitely dodged a bullet, big time,
Yep.
because the branding and all that. Oh, it would have been a mess.
Horrible
Doesn't
mess.
matter if he's, if he's, guilty or innocent. Really. Have you heard some of this testimony? Like what?
I
went
don't
on
know
at
though. I
these-
don't know though. I think if Diddy would have bought the brand and then labels, name some of this shit like freak off. Shit, I'd have bought me some of that.
You always have those people. That's for sure.
Be like, yo, here's some of this.
Diddy's daughters and his mother
Yes.
were in the room and they were talking
I
about
know.
bad stuff.
Real bad stuff, yeah.
How
His kids.
Well, I'm
How
sure
do you
they already
let that-
heard it. It's tough, but
They already heard
They're
it.
showing support, and I think that's important at this time.
Yeah.
But it is a bad show. It is a bad one.
I don't think so, pal.
Yeah. That was Beetlejuice. You know Beetle.
I know Beetlejuice.
Beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he funny. I saw some shit. This is completely off topic, but I saw some shit where Beetle's sister got caught up in some sex sting or some shit.
What?
Yeah, it's hilarious. we might have to pull that shit up. We might have to dip our toe
Yeah.
outside of the cannabis one night and deal with Beetlejuice's sister. But anyway, Scott, what's your thought on this whole thing?
Yeah, well, I
Diddy?
mean, I think they dodged a bullet, right? But as you guys are saying, when you look at it, right, if it's 185 mil right now, with just a handful of states, recreational, what is it going to be like 10 years from now? right? That 185 may be 1 point something billion,
Yep. Yep.
you know?
It's yeah.
So I think that was smart. But then again, as you guys said as well, right? If they did make the sale, and as you said, Phil, he has to fire sale it, fire sale to get, some money, quick money. They could have bought it back for a cheaper price and made some money off of that as well.
But would have changed. But would have changed the face of the marketplace at the same time, right?
Yeah.
It
No,
really
absolutely.
because
Absolutely.
you're driving value out of it by that happening. Interesting.
Absolutely.
So one of the things that I thought was pretty interesting. You guys ever hear of Perez Hilton?
Yeah, I heard of him.
Yes.
Paris?
Yeah.
Paris?
So
Perez.
we got a piece of tape from him that's talking about why one of the Diddy jurors was excused. Do you guys want to hear that?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. All right. Let's play that.
Surprising. Surprising.
What happened?
And we're back. Hello, my fam. It is Perez, the queen of all media, the original influencer. And unfortunately, cameras are not allowed in the federal courtroom where Diddy is awaiting trial. And jury selection began yesterday as he faces charges of trafficking, racketeering, and prostitution. Today, we've learned a lot more about the latest potential jurors and what they're having to deal with before either being selected to move forward or dismissed. Things moved a lot quicker today, with 39 prospective jurors being questioned individually by the judge. Of those, only 16 moved forward in the process, including 10 men and 6 women. In the extensive questionnaire that everybody had to fill out, they were asked the following. Quote, there may be evidence of graphic videos and photographs,
it's the next
including
one.
videos.
I don't know why
of
we weren't
physical
queued up right, but it's the next one. Yeah, keep playing. It's right after this one where the one I wanted to show you guys. Go ahead.
violence in connection with this case. Is there anything about the nature of this evidence that would make it difficult for you to be fair and impartial? They also were asked, there may be evidence of socially explicit videos, photographs, and language in connection with the case. Would such evidence interfere with your ability to sit fairly and impartially in hearing the evidence or lack of evidence? Given the charges against the disgraced music mogul, these questions are not surprising. What is surprising are some of the reasons why jurors were dismissed today.
This is where we're supposed
My
to
favorite
start.
moment in today's proceedings
Right here.
occurred when the judge dismissed a potential juror after this man shared that he was arrested 7 years ago for possession of the marijuana. Judge Subramanian said, if I asked you not to use the marijuana during the trial, would that be hard for you? The man responded that it would be a difficult request for the case, and the last time he used the marijuana was the previous evening. The judge dismissed him, and after he left the courtroom, Combs's defense joked in the courtroom that jurors shouldn't use the marijuana during the trial.
Pause.
Okay.
So a potential juror got dismissed because he admitted that he
Got high.
he had a possession charge 7 years ago, and then the judge asked if you get selected, can you not smoke during the trial? And my man said, nah, I can't do that.
That's a good way to get off.
So
Yeah.
then they dismissed him, right? And then after they dismiss him,
So I wonder who replaces him.
after they dismiss him, then the Diddy defense team has to make a comment about how people shouldn't get high when they're on the jury. That's the last thing he said.
Right.
I'm trying to figure out what
Well, he wants them to be clear-minded when they're trying to, get their man off.
So don't you find it completely hilarious that they're defending a man who had all these fucking freak offs, and they're telling jurors who are spending their time and their free time to do their civic duty to rain upon his case how they shouldn't smoke marijuana, how they shouldn't get high? Shit.
Yeah,
That's fucking crazy.
Trying to keep the image up.
That's crazy.
I thought they were going to have somebody, get, rejected because they a little greasy or something. They use too much oil. Motherfucker, a little shiny.
So that's what's going on with Diddy. I had no idea that he was on the edge of making such a significant purchase in the cannabis industry.
Yeah, that was kind of undercover. I didn't hear about that. That was kind of quiet. Yeah. That'd have been a slick move, if it had happened.